right, boys, line up. You get one of these, sweet, and you get one of these, yeah, and you can have this.
I'm gonna shoot somebody in the face.
You can have this, boom. But I'm sorry, you gotta take this.
Hey, wait, why I gotta use this?
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today I'm taking a look at Jazwares Fortnite Legendary Series. Now I found most of these at the same time except for one, and that would be Oops. He seems to be the one that sells the fastest because I think people see him as the one with the most customizing potential. Or a white suit is just spiffy as hell and people like that. Now right off the bat, I'm gonna put this out there. I know nothing about Fortnite. I just like good action figures, and these look like good action figures, so I had to pick them up. But because I found them all at the same time, and because I'm excited about pretty much all of them, even though I know nothing about Fortnite, remember that. Remember, keep that in your mind as this review goes on. I've been looking forward to this since Toy Fair, when they said, oh, we're making 6-inch action figures. And I said, yeah, cool. But they all have the same packages. You can see everything that comes in the package is nice. It's wide open. You see Legendary Series. There's two of them that have purple backgrounds, Skull Trooper and Rabbit Raider here. The rest of them have these orange goldish backgrounds. I don't know if that signifies something. I'm sure somebody will tell me, but on the back you get a picture of the character from the game, and then a short little sweet, intentions unknown, striking fear into the opposition. Scary cute, pick a card, any card, balance and order must be restored, and then victory runs bone deep. Now another reason I was excited for this line is because I was also told that ex-Toy Biz guys worked on this line. A name that was thrown out was Dave Cortez. So if he's involved some way, and just looking at him and seeing the articulation and the style, I have a nostalgia vibe here, even though I'm not familiar with the property. So let's take a look at Skull Trooper, Purple Glow. They may tout ex-Toy Biz guys working on the toys themselves, but this is an awful lot like Mattel's packaging, where it's a little bit difficult to get into, which is cool. I mean, at the store, you don't want people just reaching in there and grabbing stuff out of your toys package. So being like that, not a bad thing. Legendary Series. Ooh, tricky, Jazwares. Also, pulling everything out of here, no rubber bands, no twisties. Everything's nicely snug into the blister. I appreciate no bands. I can just pull the figure out. I'm done. And if you want to put it back in, boom, back in, done. Oh, and right out of the package, first one I've opened, very, very interesting. I'm sitting here playing with this, and I'm thinking, oh, I need to get to the rest. I want to see what the rest of this line is like. But this one doesn't seem as new to me because, like I said, I have several iterations of this character in figure form. So I'm used to the bandana hanging down, the dog tags, the straps, the pouches, the armored leg look here. All nicely sculpted, all nicely done, and it just feels like one complete piece. And that's helped by, in a couple places, they got a little innovative on us. This pouch right here is hanging below the articulation point. It's attached to the top. It doesn't get in the way much, but it kind of tricks the eye to think, oh, there's not an articulation point because this pouch goes across. Same thing with this pouch. It's actually part of the lower leg and rotates at the thigh with the bottom part. There's boot articulation here, but the shin guard twists with it. So nice sculpt all around, and then the only paint really is this purple skeleton on top of it, but I really, really dig the purple color that they've used here. Also to point out, this strap going around is a separate piece until you get right here, and then it's glued down. So it moves, and it does break up the paint job if it gets up and out of the way, but it doesn't really need to. It doesn't need to move to get out of the way of articulation or anything. And then up at the head, kind of cartoony, but at the same time, it's a little bit freaky. I think it's the big eyes, but they did a really great job of punching the paint in here. For articulation, there is a hinge at the top of the neck with a ball on top. Can't really go forward because his chin knocks into the bandana here, but you have nice up. No tilt, that's unfortunate, but it does swivel. Butterfly joint at the shoulder goes forward, goes back. Hinge and swivel at the shoulder comes up past 90, rotates around. Swivel at the bicep, double elbow all the way up. Hinge at the wrist with a swivel. I kind of would have liked to seen up and down here because all these are shooting weapon carrying characters. I just feel like it'd be more useful up and down. And then remember this, hand articulation. This is pretty much proof that there's Toy Biz guys working on this line. I remember back in the day thinking, I'm so sick of articulated hands because it would drop weapons and such, but we'll see here in a second. Ball joint at the mid-torso, gets some crunch, gets some arc. A little bit stiff, but oh, look at that. Removing the ab piece, you can see it tilts behind that. It actually goes through, and this doesn't actually move itself. It's more of a cap. Now, which direction did that go? Right here. Oh, no, right here. So it kind of rotates on top of that. You can still get the tilt over to the tilt, but then the whole thing rotates on top. Hinge and swivel at the hip comes, well, all the way forward, back, all the way out, swivel at the thigh, double knee, bing. Okay, I kind of faked it with the ankle, but he can kick his own ass. Swivel at the boot. It is gapping up a little bit right there, and that's on both sides. I noticed that earlier on the boot. But that's the only problem I've had with any of the articulation, and if it came down to it, I didn't really need that point there either. Ankle hinges back. Ankle hinges forward. There is a forward-facing pin and there is rocker, but it's more of an angle. It needs to come just barely a little bit more forward, I think. And then toe joint. There's another Toy Biz staple. For accessories, he comes with the Reaper harvesting tool. The wood, little plastic looking, but I like this wrap right here. And then this silver on the inside of the blade. It's a little bit worn. It's a little bit weathered. Not a problem at all. And also, articulated hand. It gets in there, closes around it. See, I wish it was a little bit tighter, but at the same time, well, okay. Now that I've pinched it closed, he does hold it fairly well. He comes with the suppressed assault rifle. I really like the sculpt on this and the metallic paint they've kind of used. And then on top of that, there's some weathering, a little bit of silver gray paint in places just to make it a little bit more realistic. Again, trigger finger in that articulated hand. I will admit it does make it a little bit easier to hold weapons like this. And then how about this? Not bad. He can't get down and aim because of the bandana there getting in the way. One of these is the grenade. One of these is the large shield potion. I'm thinking this one's the large shield potion. Look at the little clasp right there. That's nicely sculpted in there. There's a slot on one side, and I thought maybe it was for fingers, and I guess it could be. I can't seem to find a peg anywhere for it to go. I'm missing it. I guarantee it. Somebody's going to post, hey, it's right there, and I'll be like, oh, dang it, it is. He has the Ghost Portal back bling. I like the silver right here and around the black, but look in the middle. That's actually translucent blue that you can see through. Visionaries. And that just boom plugs right into his back. Looks fantastic. And finally, there's swappable faces. On the figure, it comes with kind of this angry look. You look up, you pull on the chin, the front of the face comes off. Then you just plug another face on there. You have to push kind of hard to close the gap right there, but once it's on there, it's not coming on. One of his alternate faces is kind of a scared look. And then there's kind of a menacing look with people's eyebrow going on. Next up is Enforcer. All right, different character, different sculpt, same articulation scheme. So it makes for another fun toy. I can't help myself. But unlike Skull Trooper, where there's some familiarity to it, this is all new to me. I don't know this character. I haven't seen an action figure of this one yet. So the sculpt here, a little bit more clean than Skull Trooper, but just as armored up, just as cool. There's some smoothness to what I think is cloth. Well, that's definitely cloth with the folds here and stuff. So it's kind of complementary to the armor sculpt being smooth. And I usually like a texture in there, but it more than makes up for it for the amount of stuff that's just kind of thrown on top of it. These buckles nicely done up the torso. I don't know what this plate thing is on his back, but it's attached into his ass, so it doesn't get in the way of the articulation down low. These elbow pads are part of the elbow sculpt, but the shoulder pads are actually hinged up at the top to get out of the way of articulation. Ooh. Yep, I like that. And kind of like Skull Trooper, not a lot of paint. There's a whitish or well off-white color to the armor here, and there's a little silver dry brush to show some wear on what's supposed to be metal plates. Same thing right here. It's very subtle. It's not overdone, and I think that's why I kind of like it. And then up at the head here, I get a very Spawn vibe. With the hood, with the bandana, or well, the scarf thing right here, you don't get a lot of head movement. You can get up, and it looks okay with the hood on, but fortunately, you can take the hood off. There's a peg in the back that plugs into, not really a slot, but just kind of goes in there to hold on. And then if you pull the face off, you can also pull the scarf off. You can also put the hood on with the scarf off, but it doesn't hold as well because it's not really a plug. It just kind of sits in there. Without the hood and the scarf, it doesn't look like the front faceplate matches up to the back of the head. But without that on there, you can get some down to it and then some up. Still no tilt. The crevice for the head is just too tight around the neck. But there is swivel. Like I showed, the shoulder pad gets up and out of the way. There is a butterfly joint forward and back, a little bit of movement. Elbow, not as much range as the Skull Trooper because there's some cloth sculpt right here that kind of crashes when you bring it up. Torso's a little bit smoother here though. I don't know if it's because there's less stuff hanging down over, but you can get forward, you can get back, you get side, you get side. Legs come up, out all the way, better than a lot of Spider-Mans I've gotten in the past year. Thigh swivel. Double knees, same problem here, just some cloth sculpt getting in the way. Ankle back, ankle forward, about the same kind of tilt. Toe joint, pretty much the same as Skull Trooper. Comes with a bolt action sniper rifle. I like this, again with the silver. There's no trigger or trigger guard, and that makes it a little bit difficult to get in the hand. But putting it in there, it also squeezes the hand shut on the handle. So I think it was kind of designed that way. Comes with a caliper harvesting tool, nice angles to it. The handle right here, the green is really striking against the silver. And then some dry brush for some wear. I think this is the roll of bandages. For an accessory like this, it's got some nice paint apps with the red across it. Also with these, well, you know those bandage things, those little clips you put on a bandage when you wrap it around. I can't think of the name. And then again, there's a hole. What is the hole for? I still don't see a peg anywhere to plug it in. Oh, you can put it on his thumb though, and he's holding it like this. That's okay, that works. Comes with a boogie bomb. Again, just an accessory, but nice colors right here punched in on these different, I'm guessing it's like a disco ball, and then the pin to pull has a nice silver to it. And then the subjugator back bling. It looks like a riot shield where you can see through here. It brings a new color to the overall scheme of this figure, and that's some red. Plugs in the back, looks good. And then for faces, I mentioned Spawn a minute ago, but when it comes to eyes, kind of looks like Deadpool. He has two just angry eyes. He has two wide open eyes, and then he has an amusing mix of the two. Next up, let's take a look at the first figure we saw of this line, Rabbit Raider. Okay, let's get it out of the way right off the bat. Yes, it looks like Ralphie from A Christmas Story. Not the most intimidating character that I've opened so far, but still a fun looking piece. There's kind of a pajama-like texture to the overall figure, all the way down. That's because the whole thing's made out of the same suit. Got a buddy slippers on, and there's a mud look to it here, and also up here at the hands. He's cute, he's cuddly, but he's not afraid to go through some shit. The zipper here, nicely sculpted in and then painted. That could have been a disaster paint-wise with it bleeding over and stuff, but you can see the individual teeth are pretty nicely punched in. Got a cottontail on the back, and I like these colors that kind of stand out against the pink base color. Just this pastel blue, this purple, this other purple, some violet, the silver. It just breaks it up a little bit. Get up to the head, it continues that motif. I dig the ears. They're not a hard material because this whole piece is separate. Now, you saw how easy I pulled that off. It just kind of sits there. It doesn't lock down or anything. So if you're going to get crazy with the articulation, you got to move the hood around by itself. But taking that off, the hockey mask is a little bit disturbing. Even with that same blue and the painted on and the teeth, yeah, this looks like a crazy bastard in a pajama costume. But saying all that, once again, they've kept all the articulation consistent across the figures, at least so far. You have a hinge up here at the neck, looks down, looks up, swivels, butterfly joint at the shoulder, arm out, and I'm doing the left this time just to change it up a little bit. The right, this bandolier does not get in the way at all. Swivel at the bicep, double elbow, comes back to going all the way up, hinge side to side at the wrist, swivel, hinge at the fingers. The torso joint is a little bit higher on this one, or there's no belt to get in the way, one or the other, but you get some crunch, you get some back, get some tilt, get some tilt. Whole thing rotates down there and up here. Hip is a little bit more hindered than the other two I've opened. It only comes up to here. That may be because of how plain this costume is. They wanted the leg to come down a little bit more to not break it up as much. Still hinges out to here though. Swivel at the thigh. Double knee, kicking his own cottontail ass. Hinge at the ankle goes back, goes forward. This pajama pant leg comes down around it a little bit, gets in the way. The forward facing peg is a little too far down, so you get more rotation like this, and no toe here because of the bunnies on the end. Rabbit Raider comes with a grenade launcher, and this thing looks messy compared to the other two we've looked at. I dig the yellow here. It's just, it's an off color from the rest of the accessories. Has this red stripe, and then just that dirty, grungy, rusty look. We get another boogie bomb, essentially the same as the other one. We get a Jug Jug. I think this restores health in the game, but I'm just guessing. Don't quote me on that. And again, we have that slot right there. I'm starting to think that is for the fingers to go in. It's gotta be. Right? Comes with the carrot stick harvesting tool. There is a lot going on here. It's got this Easter basket looking thing on the end. The sculpt has flowers and leaves and all this. It has a chocolate bunny on this side. Is this a cone? What's this? Oh, it's a carrot tied on. I'm looking for behind the camera. Give me a break. And then the blue handle, the pink bow. It's all attached to a handle. I think this may be my favorite harvesting tool that I have so far. Hard boiled back bling. The colors are consistent. Plugs right into the back. just fits the overall look of the figure. And then for heads, you have the hockey mask came on it in the package. Comes with a normal looking face, and you can kind of see the seam line right there. Only because this is a normal looking head, you're looking for it. It doesn't really gap that much. In fact, it's pretty tight. I can hold it by that. And then he comes with a head with glasses, and if you look right there, yep, there's actually lenses in the glasses. And I kind of think this head's scarier than the other two. If you watch any bad cop dramas on TV, it's always this guy. He's the serial killer. And this guy's just a misunderstood cosplayer that actually had feelings for the girl. But this is the douchebag boyfriend that treated her wrong, but she kept coming back to him. You know, you've seen that show. Next up, we're taking a look at the Wildcard. The Wildcard? Just Wildcard. And nice looking suit body. I can see why people are wanting to use this for custom fodder. The shoulders come down a little bit. When I think of superheroes and what people are wanting to use this for, like Mr. Negative or Mr. Knight, why do all the characters in suits want to be Mr.? But mostly it's a nicely sculpted suit with these buttons right here on the inner vest, the buttons out here on the jacket. It's just plain white. I feel like there could be maybe a wash to it to bring out the details, but at the same time, it's a dude in a white suit. The black tie being glossy stands out nicely, also with the gloves against the white suit. And then down at the shoes, same thing. So it ties itself into the overall scheme. But it is a little bit skinny, which I don't know if this is what it looks like in the game or if he's just as big as the rest of the characters, but this looks like a normal Joe in a suit, not a superhero dude, not a big muscle guy. And in fact, the suit itself is pretty smooth. There's some wrinkles on the inside right here, but you get to the leg, comes down to the cuff, there's a little bit of wrinkle sculpt. It's plain, but I think it's supposed to be plain. And then the head, it looks like a strapped-on mask. I didn't know that all these straps were back here. I thought it was just the front face and then just normal back here, but that makes it look a little bit menacing, kind of, well, I'm stuck in this mask for the rest of my life. Now I'm going to kill people. But just being a plain mask, it works for what it is, and we'll look at the rest of these alternate masks here in a minute. The jacket material is very soft. It gets out of the way. It's not going to impede any articulation. And I think you can take it off, but I don't see much reason because the jacket sleeves are still on here. It doesn't look like the shirt sleeves. The suit jacket, the vest, the pants are kind of an off-white, but then you get to the shirt underneath here, and then you can see it up here too. It's more of a bright white. Also, this is the least impeded articulation out of the figures I've looked at so far, just being a dude in a suit. So this one can actually bury his chin, can look up, swivel. Man, I wish there was some tilt. I'm going to keep grappling about that. Detents in the shoulder coming up, very tight, but you work it a couple times, it loosens up. You see the butterfly joint forward and back there. Arm comes up to there, swivels around, bicep swivel, extreme elbow, wrist, swivel, fingers, torso forward, back, tilt, tilt, rotation, legs up, back, out. He's a high kicking mister. Swivel at the thigh. Double knee, kicks his own suited ass. I nearly missed that boot swivel mid shin there. And then the ankle is actually a different joint from the rest. Swivel around this way. It hinges back. It hinges forward. And then there's a forward-facing pin for rocker. It's more like a Revoltech or a Bandai joint. And then toe joint up to there. Wildcard comes with a rocket launcher, which I've seen with other figure lines, or well, Fortnite lines. But this one, get a little metal to the black and sheened up the green. I really like that metallic green on the end. The tampo for the mouth and then the eyes on top. And then the brown has kind of a splotchy black to it to make it look more like wood. Comes with a hand cannon. You see the metal for the gun itself. A little bit of black here on the handle. The trigger guard isn't attached right here. That's to accommodate the articulated fingers. The trick is to get the trigger finger in there, and that's, again, like we looked at a minute ago, that's what holds the hand shut around the gun. You gotta work with the hand that's dealt ya. Comes with the crowbar harvesting tool. The metal here, again, is weathered. It has kind of a black wash to it. It looks metallic. Then you get to the handle right here and it's a little bit plain, but the sculpt kind of makes up for that. I like it. The cuff case back bling, it doesn't open or anything, but it does have this separate piece right here for handcuffs. This one's locked on. As far as I can tell, does it come off? I don't think so. But this side, you can play around with that, I guess. Plugs through the jacket and into the back of the figure. Where is it? Make sure to get it lined up or it tries to drag that soft material of the jacket down in the hole with it. Back bling! And then in the package, it comes with the heart mask. It comes with clubs. I like this because this is the most symmetrical. I don't know, it's a thing. Comes with spades mask, and then it comes with diamonds. And I like how the red is kind of its own thing against the white and the black of the suit. But man, there's something about this that just sets off the whole thing. I think I like Wildcard black. Or I'll have to go get more Wildcards. And then there is Havoc. Oh, and Havoc may just be my favorite out of the bunch so far. It's more of a military garb. It's more real life than most of what I've seen so far. But at the same time, it calls back to Skull Trooper. It calls back to Enforcer. Nice wrinkles to the suit underneath. But then on top of that, you have this glove sculpt. It's sticking off. It's got this cuff right here at the top. You have the boots down here. And yeah, they're a little bit cartoony shaped, but they work a little bit realistic. It's got a bunch of detail to it. Look at the soles. The knee pads, these punched in little grommets are amazing. The straps coming across the top of the leg. Has the belt and then this bandolier coming across along with some straps over the shoulders. Now there's some designs on the shoulders and they're nicely tampoed, but I also think they're part of the sculpt. This bomb on this side. And then the paint job, the subtle gray and darker gray camouflage. I love it. The red and silver painted on the straps right here. The gloss black just stands out against the... Okay. The suit underneath, yes, it has a sheen to it. You can see some shine, but at the same time, it's more dull than the glossy of the black. So it's a nice contrast all the way around. And then just little bits of silver punched in there to break it up a little bit, even down here on the boot. Up at the head, you have an actual texture of a ski mask right there. And then it's painted to match the rest of the suit. The eyes, I wish they weren't quite as cartoony, but that's just me wanting to use this in a different display. It works within the realm of Fortnite. And then because of the sculpt of the ski mask here, the seam line for the face isn't as apparent as it is with the other figures we've looked at. Again, articulation, the same as the rest of them we looked at. Hinge in the neck, goes down, goes back. Butterfly back and forth, and this time the butterfly is actually sticking out like a shoulder pad piece. So it kind of hides the shoulder when you come up and around. Watch out, the shoulders are so tight when you come up. If you take the arm and try to push down, you're going to be stressing that peg joint right there at the bicep. So push as high up as you can to get the arm down, at least until the shoulders loosen up a little bit. Bicep at the shoulder, bicep at the shoulder. That's amazing. Swivel at the bicep. Because of the sculpt right here, not quite all the way up, but pretty good range at the double elbow. Swivel, hinge, finger. Again, at the mid-torso, a little bit smoother than Skull Trooper getting around. And then it rotates, but it also rotates at the bottom. So you may have a problem with the zipper getting out of alignment, if that's the kind of thing that bugs you. Hip up, back, all the way out. Swivel at the thigh, nicely hidden behind those straps. Double knee, just a little too thick, a little too baggy in the pants. Swivel at the boot, hinge at the ankle back, hinge forward. I think this is the nicest movement out of all of them so far. Forward facing pin for a little bit of rocker. Toe joint up to there. Havoc comes with what is called a thermal scoped rifle. The green, again, kind of sets it apart from the figure itself, but I like the contrasting colors. Nicely sculpted with the details in here, and then a little messy wash to it. Comes with a Jug Jug like we saw before. There's the slot for the hand. We get another grenade here. Comes with the Instigator harvesting tool, and you see the silver, but there's a wash right here to kind of differentiate this raised sculpt from the lower sculpt. Same thing on this end. And then the red has a silver dry brush to bring out the edges. It just looks fantastic. Much like the backup plan back bling with this bomb across here. There's a nice tampo for a face on the front. I really dig the metallic red, and that carries over to this side bomb over here. The gray camouflage, and then pin goes right in the back right here. Oh, and that goes in, it's almost seamless with the rest of the figure. For faces, he has this normal look to him. Then there's more of a surprised look. The eyes are a little bit wider. And then one where he's pulled the mask up to reveal his face. Huh. He looks like a cocky bastard. And then finally, there is the Visitor. And the cool thing about the Visitor, it seems to take everything we've kind of learned, everything we've experienced with all the other figures looked at so far, and integrates them all together into one figure. I think this one uses the most colors out of all of them. And can I say that for sure? Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. The silvers, the browns, the grays, the orange, kind of brownish color here. There's some red, there's some copper, and also the different sheens. We talked about it with Havoc, but it's much more apparent here, especially with this metallic blue. Here. It's not down here, but there's some silver. It really stands out against the undersuit. But overall, the sculpt here is really nice. There's a pouch over here on this arm. I think this is a blade, maybe. It's odd that that's sticking out like that. But you have these grenades or shells on the belt. Some flatness to the back of the belt here, but that's okay. It looks like pants. There's some padding back here for, fast sit downs, I guess. But the armor intrigues me the most. It comes up and over. It's very nicely done. The gauntlets made to match up here. I know it's the design of the game, but I kind of wish this and this carried down here somehow instead of into some kind of boots with some silver on them. Don't get me wrong, I like the overall figure, but it's just my own sensibilities. creeping in there. That's nothing against the figure itself. Because the metallic blue armor look does carry up to the head with this helmet, the silvers, the metallic blues, the metal look, and whatever this is, it's striking. I like the red targeting computer look. It's got a sheen to it like it's actual glass or, you know, some kind of screen. We also have the hinged shoulder pads again here to get out of the way of articulation. This collar coming up, you get a little bit forward, a little bit of back, swivel. Maybe a little bit of tilt, but maybe I'm just wishing. You have the butterfly joint, arm up to here, swivels around, bicep swivel. You have the band on the bicep and then the band on the gauntlet. That's as far as you can get, a little past 90. Hinge at the wrist, swivel, finger joint. The belt is a separate piece. It's glued somewhere though. Well, probably right there behind the buckle. Is that why it's not moving? It does like to ride up a little bit, but it doesn't really get in the way of torso here. In fact, everything I've said so far, this is the smoothest torso that I've messed with out of all these. It's not loose. It's not going anywhere, but it moves like I feel like they all should. Then there's rotation there. Hip up, back, out, swivel at the thigh. Double knee, oh, does come a little bit higher than Havoc, but not as far as some of the others. Swivel at the boot, hinge at the ankle, goes back, forward facing pin, not quite angled enough, toe joint up to there. The Visitor comes with a legendary assault rifle. This is what I'm used to when it comes to Fortnite weapons. This color right here, it's got a wash to it, dirty it up a little bit. The gloss black works well here, and then the silver down here. We get another grenade, nice colors, nice sculpt. Comes with a med kit. It's essentially what you think of when you think med kit, both sides. Has this part sticking out here and then a slot here. Actually, there's a slot on both ends. Comes with a cliffhanger harvesting tool. Nice and angular. There's a little bit of silver here on this jagged edge, but for the most part, it's the yellow, it's the black. Well, I don't know. There's kind of a dry brush here to bring the metal bits out a little bit. Oh, and then there's the wear. Okay. This looks like something you'll pick up at Home Depot or something. Comes with the off-world rig back bling. There's some copper. There's more of that beautiful metallic blue. It looks like this flap is hinged. It almost looks like a separate piece right here, but then it looks like a solid piece going up to here. Unless this is just gooped up with paint, I don't think this moves. But underneath you see a little bit of turbine. You see some writing up here on the top. Kind of looks like a cape underneath. But like all the others, plugs into the back, becomes part of the figure essentially. And then for interchangeable screen on the front, it comes with, well, this one. And here it's a little bit different to change. It's just this piece. It's not a straight line going forward. It's the whole helmet is a sculpt and then the screen is a sculpt. But it also has this one. It looked like a footprint. Somebody kicked him in the face. I found the best way here is to peel at these two silver pieces on top. It has this face, whatever that is, and then this happy face, which may be my favorite, I think, because it's a nice, just silly face inside a very serious body. Keeping with the faces for a minute though, these come off like this and they are all interchangeable across all the figures. So any face will plug to any head and you can put it here, except for the Visitor. And from what I've been told, you can pop the head off with a little bit of heat and swap those if you want to. All the figures of Series 1 look fantastic together. They're all the same height at about 6 inches tall. Wildcard is a little bit shorter. Visitor is a little bit taller. And then of course there's ears, hood, stuff that makes it a little bit different. But for the most part, they're all the same height. Here they are with the Star Wars Black Series Stormtrooper, the Marvel Legends comic Black Panther, and then the Marvel Legends MCU Coulson. Not bad at all. It's a little bit small for the comic book line. It's kind of closer to true 6-inch scale. Wildcard and Coulson, which is a smaller suited body for Marvel Legends, pretty close in size, but if you're wanting to use this for Mark Spector, I think of him as kind of a bigger, bulkier guy. It's up to you, though. Here's Enforcer and Skull Trooper with the SH Figuarts Avengers Infinity War Black Widow, and then the SH Figuarts Avengers Infinity War Bucky. Pretty damn close in scale all the way across. But here's the SH Figuarts Star Wars Luke Skywalker and the Figma Deluxe Deadpool. But then here they are with the articulated Icon Solitaire and White Ninja. You know, just in case you were thinking of using this for fodder for one of those lines that you wish was always in 6-inch scale. Maybe Firefly, maybe a Techno Viper. And then these two, I can't legally say, so it's up to you. But there are third-party heads out there. If you're wanting to do a video game shelf, here's the Hasbro Overwatch figures. I personally don't care for those. I'm having much more fun with the Jazwares Fortnite stuff. But if you're into that, this is what it looks like with those. And then if you're confused with the whole McFarlane Jazwares thing, McFarlane figures are 7-inch scale, beautifully sculpted, beautifully articulated, but Jazwares is closer to my 6-inch scale. I'm still buying these, but I'm definitely buying these. And I don't even care about Fortnite. So at the end of the day, the name of the game here is fun. and I'll be damned if these figures aren't fun as hell. You can definitely tell there's some Toy Biz magic sprinkled in here, and while I'm still not a super fan of articulated fingers, I will say it takes me back to, holy moly, how long ago was that? 15 years ago? Hell, longer, 20 years ago, when Toy Biz was kicking it with all their Marvel figures. There's kind of a nostalgia there with that. Then I get all these together. There's a robot, there's a pink buddy suit, there's a dude in a white suit with some kind of gimp mask on, there's a military guy with a skeleton painted on the front of him, there's another military guy that, ooh, I may need a couple of, and then there's a futuristic assassin type character. I don't know how many times I can say this. It's just fun altogether. Now, I've never played the game. My son plays it every now and then. I wander through, I see it, it looks cool, but it's not for me. Just constant, just battle. I like to explore. I like to go out there. But oh, man, these are excellent toys. Jazwares did a fantastic job with these. As you can see, these will be great for customs. If you're a fan of Fortnite, they're good on that front too. I think Amazon has already leaked a couple of more releases for this line. I hope Jazwares keeps with this. And let's not even get into all the accessories you get with this. Alternate face plates, weapons, health, different things, the back blings, all for under $20. Okay, a penny under $20, but still under $20. That's a hell of a deal. I'm buying more. I'm buying extras. So if you like the review, and even if you were here for Fortnite facts and somebody that was into the game for however long it's been out, and you're disappointed by that, just comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.